My duty to welcome.
Is now being recorded.
First, I would like to welcome Dr. Ambli Ma'am, the principal, Mahatma Gandhi College, Trivandrum, for her support and assistance. Is a real motivator for conducting a program like this. I would like to welcome our respected head of the department, Dr. Dilip A.S., and other faculty members. They are the real inspiration, guidance, and support while doing a program like this. Let me start welcoming ma'am with explaining brief profile of her. Dr. Kamini Shah is Associate Professor at Department of Business Studies, Sardar Patel University. She has been associated with the field of academics for more than 2 decades in various capacities as academician, researcher, administrator, and student activity accelerator. She has been experience of working with industry and academic side. Dr. Shah was an independent woman director of AMI Organics Private Limited. She is one of the board of Mahavir Jain Kanya Chadalaya Vallabh Vidyanagar. Dr. Kamini has been contributing actively in various committees of Sardar Patel University, like Board of Studies, DRAC, APA committee, and she is there in part of guiding MPhil and PhD students. Dr. Shah is in board of Research Advisory Committee of Gujarat University, Ganpat University, Institute of Advanced Research, and other universities and related activities. She has an experience of coordinating IQSC and NAC at SEMCOM. The college was accredited with A grade under her leadership. She has served SEMCOM as principal in charge before joining Sardar Patel University. She is active researcher too. Dr. Kamini has published and presented more than 100 papers in seminars and conferences. She has won Best Paper Award in 10 times in various conferences. She is a recognized MPhil and PhD research guide, as we mentioned earlier. She has 3 edited books and 2 books to her credit. She had been invited to deliver her talk in keynote addresses as a resource person in many of technical sessions of different universities, HRDCs, especially the refresher and orientation programs. She is a part of panel discussions and other academic areas and visiting faculty of various universities and institutes. She's an eminent faculty of other department colleges for other subject related discussions of commerce and management disciplines. So I'm very happy to welcome you, ma'am, for delivering today's talk, Literature Review for a Systematic Kick to Start a Research Journey. Welcome, ma'am. It's over to you.
Thank you very much, sir. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizing college, that is Mahatma Gandhi College, Trivandrum for organizing this National Research Talk series in association with Indian Accounting Association. I would like to thank Principal Ma'am, organizing team, Dr. Vinod Sridhar for being instrumental in giving me the opportunity to interact with the PhD scholars and faculty members in the University of Kerala. Thank you very much. Now I would begin with the today's topic, that is literature review for systematic kickstart to research journey. We can say that it is a focused reading with a specific purpose. Literature review, all who have joined, I suppose they are pursuing their PhD or they are thinking to pursue the PhD, and maybe some of the faculty members are PhD guide too. So everybody must have an experience in somewhere or the other way that what literature review process is. Today I'm going to share my experience with reference to literature review in the research. Initial some time we will spend in the conceptual understanding of the topic. And as you can see on my screen, the one of the expert has given this understanding that piles of these materials are stacked all around on desk, tables, and floor, and they have diligently read their way through most of them, taking copious notes. Computers bulge with information and threaten to explode. If we are really taking our research work very seriously and sincerely, then by that time we start, or maybe by 6 months, 7 months after PhD registration, we may observe this kind of a situation that a lot of material related to our topic is either in our cupboard, in our tables, or on the desk. It is lying, and or maybe computer one folder at least is filled with lot many articles, because whatever we see where even a single word related to our topic is mentioned, we prefer to download and preserve that. So the discussion I'm starting here is with this disclaimer that in any way this lecture cannot be comprehensive, which can include each and everything about literature review. There may be field specific variations not mentioned in the information which I am going to present, because it is possible that research in finance, marketing, or accounts, or personnel management, economics, everything may be somewhere or the other way related, but there is certain field specific requirement which in this kind of a talk, when there are all together, it is difficult to cover. But still, I am going to try. So this is going to be the outline of the session: understanding what literature review is, search of literature, organizing a literature review, and writing the literature review. These are some of the, you can say, the definitions given by some experts, that it is an account of what has been published on a topic by accredited scholars and researchers, or it discusses published information in a particular subject area, and sometimes information in a particular subject area within specific time period. And Wikipedia normally we do not consider as a very authentic source because everything is editable on Wikipedia, but then the meaning given on Wikipedia is a body of text that aims to review the critical points of current knowledge on a particular topic. In short, we are trying to gather information from wherever possible, at least in the beginning. Then slowly we can adopt a systematic literature review or systematic approach to the process. So the comprehensive definition here is given by Irwin L. Clark. He says a literature review surveys scholarly articles. The word scholarly is important here. Not all, everything. Books and other sources that may include dissertations, even theses, conference proceedings relevant to our topic. Its purpose is to demonstrate that the writer has insightfully and critically surveyed relevant literature on his or her topic in order to convince an intended audience that the topic is worth addressing. So, whoever collects the data has collected the data not haphazardly, not whatever came to my way during the process of search, but insightfully the material is collected, critically surveyed, and the researcher is trying to justify to the audience the relevance of the topic selected, that the topic is so important that it needs in-depth analysis, identifying some based on the analysis, the interpretation in such a way that it leads to this research further. And maybe the research we all know it's a continuous process. So where I end, someone else may begin. I have started from where someone else has stopped. And that's why that is a purpose. We always include in our thesis scope for further research. But of course, it is not annotated bibliography. Simply listing out or writing summaries of the article. Definitely, literature review is not that, because there is a practice. Those who do not understand this topic, or normally literature review is not taken very, very seriously. First two chapters, introduction and literature review. In fact, I would emphasize more on literature review. If that is done well, your introduction chapter will be not only prepared very well, but it will give you insights to write other chapters and extracting research objective and formulating your hypothesis, and most importantly understanding the variables to be studied. In-depth study of which variable will contribute to the body of knowledge that can be understood. So simply writing, taking abstract of the article and putting it as a literature review is not literature review. It is not a list of seemingly unrelated sources. If we take everything what comes to our way, and where is even a one word of our topic is written, and we take it as a part of literature review in our research or thesis, that's not right. A literary survey containing author's biography, list of works, summaries of sources. We are not there to market the somebody else. Our focus, instead of on the collecting the, of course there are few well-known writers or researchers, their name definitely makes a lot of sense in the literature review process, but then everybody, we are not there to uh, glorify the author's information in our literature review. Background information or explanation of the concept. One chapter of introduction is, or conceptual framework is more than enough. Then we should not unnecessarily drag those things everywhere. an argument for the importance of your research. Although the literature review can and often does support your position, it may help you in supporting what you are working on, the topic on which you are working on, the direction of the research which you are going to take. But then obviously too much importance, and it is not an argument for the importance of your research, too much emphasis on that only is not correct. These are certain pre-writing phases. We can say the formulating the problem or primary research question, identifying the relevant research question, that which topic or field is being examined and what are its component issues. So you can say identifying a problem and then dissection of the problem, that should be first done, so that you can understand that during the process of literature review, when you search for the literature and when you want to organize your literature review, which are the important articles which you should finally consider. So the, you can say, filtering process becomes easier. Choose literature or find materials relevant to the subject being explored and determine which literature makes a significant contribution to the understanding of the topic. We may collect 200, 500, 700 articles, but ultimately we come down to 60, 70, 80, at the most 100 such papers, such articles which are very, very closely connected to our area of research. Analyze and interpret. Note the findings and conclusion of pertinent literature, how each contributes to your field. In fact, ideally, no doubt, we have now computers, we move around with iPad or laptop, we have at least, if not anything else, a smartphone with us wherever we go. But still, I would insist that the budding researchers, those who have registered for PhD or planning to register, you should have one notebook, and the article which you read every day, you should cultivate a habit after registration. In fact, what is generally observed that a few months after registration, researcher relaxes, then suddenly he or she starts working, starts collecting the things, and then things goes haywire if we are unable to give sufficient time to the research work. So instead of that, you can have a schedule that every day at least one article related to your research you will read. And the moment you read, you are going to write in your own words one paragraph on that. This habit should be cultivated, though it's an age of IT and we have all gadgets with us. Still, I would insist, because it will help you a lot. Literature review does not mean one chapter of our thesis. You need to mention what you read and related concepts, and with the proper citations, that means giving due credit to the author. You should mention, or I would say you have to mention in the introduction page, even while writing interpretation of your research, who were other researchers who are supporting, or they also had similar findings what you have, or the contradictory findings than what you have. Everywhere you need to, and that is part of literature review process only. If you have done this process sincerely, then you'll be able to do that. And suppose you are not maintaining a notebook, or in at least one word document is necessary to maintain, where everything, like one article and what you read and understood, everything is written in that one paragraph, so that you can go back to that while writing your thesis or chapter, and you may recollect that somewhere you read. So if you have those summaries ready, but this summary is not in literal sense, I'm telling that taking that abstracts and copy paste that abstract. I'm telling you read and write in your own words. Then only you'll be able to correlate that what is going with, in line with your research, what is contradicting. And that's why we can say It surveys books, scholarly articles, any other sources relevant to a particular issue, area of research, theory, and by doing so provides what? A description, summary, and critical evaluation of these works in relation to research problem being investigated. This is possible, this part is possible only if, I'm emphasizing here, only if you have some one word document maintained or one notebook. I would still emphasize on notebook only, that something is written in your own words and you read every day at least one paper, one article, then this is possible for you. Otherwise, you cannot write in your own words. You cannot have any critical evaluation. It is not annotated bibliography. It is synthesis of the work. That needs to be understood. So your review should not be simply a description of what others have published in the form of set of summaries, but should take the form of a critical discussion showing insight and an awareness of differing arguments, theories, and approaches. This is very important. And it is possible. See, there are shortcuts also for writing literature review. Of course, nowadays it is difficult to adopt those shortcuts, but taking abstracts or from some research papers, they have done literature review, and taking that and paraphrasing those literature review, these are shortcuts. But then there, these things will not be possible. You will never be in a position to critically discuss or give your own insights or what you have understood from your reading, what is your argument, how, whether you differ in their arguments, or did you observe that there are 5 6 experts who are giving similar opinion. Then you can club them together and write them together. And with that, if you came across some few researchers who are contradicting this opinion, so that also you can show. It should be, as I said, a synthesis and analysis of the relevant published work, linked at all times to your own purpose and rationale. All the time when we read something, what should have in our mind? Our research problem, research objective, and why we read. What do we want to extract? The 10-page article, when we read 10-page paper, we read, and how we can write in one paragraph. That is possible if you have continuously remembered your own research problem, objectives, and the purpose why you are reading. So we can say that it is, the literature review should compare and contrast. Instead of writing simply one paragraph, what others have written, you should try to compare and contrast different authors' views on an issue. Note areas in which authors are in disagreement. So identify who are contradicting. Group authors who draw similar conclusion. I told you this also. Criticize aspects of methodology. The methodology everybody has adopted and the paper is published does not mean it is appropriate methodology. Yes, but here it does make sense what you refer to, because if you are referring good database, good journals, A grade journals, then generally there won't be any issue with the methodology. But again, the shortcuts what we adopt here, the we simply go to the Google Guru. Absolutely no problem. We can use Google, very good search engine, but then with our own insights into that. Anything which we Google gives search in the search result, and something, 1 or 2 words or even the whole topic is covered in some article, that does not mean it is good, because there are so many predatory journals where you just pay and 2 3 days, within a week, within a month, you get your paper published. Possible, eh? So if we came across through such search, blind search, if we come across such papers and we use it as literature review for our research work, then obviously we know whatever is the input, similar will be the output. What you eat, that will be reflected in your research work also. And that is why we must remember that what database, which types of journal we are using for our literature review. In fact, if you use good database, ABDC, Scopus, Web of Science, if not anything else, at least you must try for UGC care journals for the literature review, but not anything which you come across. Yes, there are certain topics, so you can say the current topics, that you need to use newspaper articles. Absolutely nothing wrong in that. But at least current things you have. Show how your study relates to previous studies and conclude by summarizing what literature says. So I told you that it is not only confined to one chapter. You need to even show how your study, your findings, your inferences are related to previous studies. To what extent it goes in line with that or contradicting past studies. So that was a conceptual, we can say, the discussion of literature review. Now the why. Why do we do it? Of course, it gives a very good starting point, kickstart to our research journey. It helps us in identifying at least that what others have done, too much of research work has been done on particular topic, particular area, then no duplication. At least we do not just want to be part of that race, that everybody is studying financial statement analysis using ratio analysis tool for X industry, Y in the industry, Z industry, and then we also go for the same topic. See, financial statement analysis, no doubt, suppose if we talk about finance accounts, most common topic for the research, but there are ways to make it uncommon. And that's where literature review plays a very important role. It can provide clues as to where future research is heading or recommend areas on which to focus. It tells you the trends, that future trends, that what research has already been done, what is going on now, which are the areas people are, experts are exploring now, and what is the future trend. You can also highlight certain key findings and identify inconsistencies, gaps, contradictions in the literature. In fact, we focus on this. All PhD scholar, they have been informed that literature review is done for research gap, and it is true also. We identify that maybe we read at least, if not more, 100 papers, 100 articles relevant to your research, and then we identify that there are 10 different gaps. But obviously addressing all 10 is not feasible in our research, but we can identify that which 2 3 research gap which will be fulfilled from our research, and it will be adding to the existing knowledge. It will be our contribution to that knowledge base. It provides constructive analysis of the methodologies and approaches of other researchers. What kind of methodology other researchers have used, which variables they have studied, which variable we can study. In fact, it helps us a lot in formulating the hypothesis. Not only that, the objectives, framing research objectives becomes very easy if we study good literature. And it gives reader easy access to research on a particular topic by selecting high quality articles or studies that are relevant, meaningful, important, valid, and summarizing them into one complete report. In fact, good literature review that itself helps us in publishing. Our first paper can be published based on literature review. Here I have identified a few. I'll just show you one or two, which actually is very good research paper published on literature review. And each researcher must have that aim that our literature review should be so good that we publish our first paper in good journal based on literature review. See, this is the area nowadays actually I am exploring for research, that is fintech. So, challenges and trends of financial technology, a systematic literature review. I came across one very good paper. See, the authors are from Indonesia, and you can see the novel proposal in this study includes theoretical contributions regarding fintech. And what they have done, see, using the systematic literature review approach of Kitchenham, in addition to thematic analysis, meta analysis, and observation to validate the quality of literature and analysis. So, this is how the abstract is written. Then they have introduced the concept, and you can see here the numbers which you are seeing is they have cited that which literature they have used for. If I suppose I click on this one, then see it is here. See, it's not very old paper, 2020 paper only. And those things we read here, that we can see here also in their keywords. Everywhere you can see these numbers, that is their citation, and it is part of from where it has come, from the review of literature. So this is just introduction, and so many things are from their review of literature they have taken. Then the methodology adopted, where they have identified a research question. What are the challenges? That is the title of this paper also. Challenges and trends of financial technology, fintech research. Then they have shown the search process, and you can see the database they have used for the literature. The database used in this study includes Scopus, ACM, Science Direct, IEEE Explore. Then, so first thing they have done is identified their database. Then they formulated a protocol review to formulate research question by classifying keywords according to the population, intervention, comparison, outcome, and context strategy. Then they identified populations, that is fintech and financial technology. In what was their context? Trends, problems, adoption, innovation, challenges. What was their focus? Release the intervention section to obtain information on various fintech focuses, types of fintech payment, funding, investment. Then the keyword used for searching the literature: fintech, financial technology, trends, problems, adoptions, innovations, challenges. This kind of words they used for searching the literature. and see how that is also planned and implemented, how literature review planned, implemented and reported. That is written, that what are the needs of systematic literature review. Then development of review protocol, that how the articles will be filtered and selected for the final consideration. Then identification of research, selection of primary study, study quality assessment, data extraction, data synthesis. Then C, first phase, potentially related papers from ACM database 46, IEEE 65, Science Direct 408, Scopus 483. And then final, after passing through all that, they identified only these many are really required for their work. From 46, 10, 65, 13, 408, 29 only, 483, 59 only. Do you think it is this filtering process is possible without reading? Not possible. Then the results, and in that actually how the grouping is done, that I want to show you. Thematic analysis of the articles, publication per year, research on fintech, see the publications. It's a current recent topic, that's why you can see more here. Research on payment, clearing and settlement, how much dissection they have done of the topic financial technology or fintech, that is worth observing here. Research on risk management and investment, market aggregator, research on crowdfunding, research on peer-to-peer lending, then research on cryptocurrency and blockchain. You can see this. And then for the final literature review, they did classification of articles on various bases. Their first base was classification of articles by fintech business model. So what is the business model? They did, these are all the literatures they have cited with numbers. Then classification of articles by methodology. First is by business model, then methodology, then by publication, then location, where the research has been conducted, which countries are aggressively working on that, meta-analysis of the articles selected. Okay. These are the challenges they identified from the literature review. And these are the trends they identified. Do you think it is possible to identify these many challenges and trends without substantial work? This is how you can also think of or plan actually publication of your first paper based on research, uh, literature review. Such other one I'll just show you one more one. The topic is very familiar to you people, so I will try that. I think it is on mergers and acquisition. Yes, this one, everybody is familiar with this topic, no? So I would like to see this, show you this, that theoretical foundations of cross border mergers and acquisition, a review of current research and recommendations. It is again a paper published, and remember, good journals, A rated journals, they are publishing such literature review papers if written well. It is published in Journal of International Management. You can see the downloaded from academia citation. And actually, again, the introduction and all, you can see how it is. The citation itself shows that literature review is giving all these inputs. All these inputs, all the blue color text is citation. And see, I told you that if somebody, there are few people who are of the similar opinion, then we can group them together. And so many places, see, the experts have grouped the similar opinion, of course written in their own words, but all these people are telling what is mentioned here. That is what they would like to say. This exercise you are also required to do, grouping similar researchers opinion together. Wherever they are contradicting, mentioning that with the name of the researcher, giving them due credit, everything. Cross border mergers and acquisition. And here also, all this is, see, the a snapshot kind of a thing. You can put summary of empirical research on cross border mergers and acquisition as a mode of entry. And see, the theoretical perspective, the study, whoever has conducted, what was their sample, what was their dependent variable, independent variable, controlled variable, and key findings. Here, in which year even this research is conducted. Similarly, you can also prepare at the end of your literature review chapter the snapshot of your literature review. This way, it gives referee a very good impression, because he or she will be able to see your work just at a glance. No need to read in detail. Now, see how they have grouped the literature review. Theoretical perspective on cross-border mergers and acquisition as a mode of entry. Firm and industry level factors influencing the choice of mode of entry. So here they have talked about only firm and industry level factors for the entry. These many uh, papers or the studies they have had. Then country level factors influencing mode of entry. Then research needs on cross-border mergers and acquisition. Why after writing all this, what is the research need? That is written. Then dynamic learning process. Mode of entry, then dynamic learning process. Theoretical perspective on dynamic learning process, that how the due diligence process in mergers and cross-border mergers and acquisition. Then it's snapshot. See, instead of me speaking what is what and all that, this kind of example gives you immediate idea that what I want to convey. The negotiation process in cross-border mergers and acquisition, the integration process. And based on that, research issues. Then third aspect is value creating strategy. Then everything related to that, theoretical perspective, then related wealth creation and all. Then again, it's a snapshot. Normally, mergers and acquisition, this kind of research is conducted where the emphasis is on pre-merger performance, financial performance, and post-merger financial performance. This comparison is very popular in case of this particular topic. But here in this paper, they have identified one more uh, theoretical, where is it? Learning from successful and governance problems, reframing domestic and all that. No, there is mergers and acquisition control. There is one more paper where they have identified very good this thing. I could open this PDF file, and on the this is another paper where one very good component which is hardly touched by the researchers, that has been identified. Yes, it is on page number 196. Okay. See, here also the grouping, at least you can see introduction, studies on the topic first, merger acquisition, a comparative review of literature. After introducing the topic, they have done merger acquisition, this particular topic, literature review based on studies on accounting measures of performance is done by many. Second is studies on stock market performance measure. This aspect, this particular variable is also studied in merger and acquisition a lot. Then this one I was talking about. Very few researchers have attempted this. But this kind of thing you can identify if we do this way thoroughly, and at least we try to collect 200-300 papers, articles, or literature review. Then the studies on qualitative performance measure, where the variables like effect on employees, innovation and competitive advantage have also gained academic attention. But in India, we find these particular variables studied less, because see, the integration, post-merger integration process is equally important, because both the companies have altogether different work culture, and proper integration and working harmoniously after merger, that will be reflected in terms of the better financial performance. So this is also worth attempting. So this is what I'm trying to here convey, that we get access to good literature. All these papers I have downloaded actually from either Scopus or you can say the Web of Science, this kind of database. At least you should also try that. Okay, 50-60% of the literature review will be exclusively from this kind of database. And then when you prepare a snapshot, at least in your pre-PhD presentation or viva voce, you can have one slide where out of, let's say, you have taken or considered 100 literature review, uh, then out of that 100, how many are from Scopus, Web of Science, this kind of things, then that itself gives the credibility to your research. So why we do it? For to have a to understand what was the previous research, what variables have been researched in the past. Then it shows how how your study fills the gap, why your study is required, why it is worth exploring your topic. And it also sets the boundaries, because I told you that you may identify 10 different research gaps, 20 different research gaps, and out of that you want to confine to 3-4 in-depth study, you want to do that. So you can set the boundaries that my scope of work is this much, and which has a potential to contribute to the existing knowledge base to this extent, and what is the current state. It should address all these questions, that what has been done before, who are the experts in the field, because we need to know who are the established player of our area of research, who are very, very, you can say, we can consider that if something is said by somebody, then it must be good only. Who are the experts? What have they said? What is the relevance? What is the difference? Agreement, disagreement? Are there any flaws? Is the topic open to hypothesis testing? Is the topic a trivial one which should be ignored, which should not be given much attention? And is it possible to research on this topic? Possible to frame and test hypothesis? So now the process, finding and finalizing what to include, what is relevant out of 100, which 50 are relevant to us, and writing a literature review and taking a feedback, and based on feedback amending, making improvisation. We all are, I'm beginning with this because we all are very, very familiar with this, right? So what I am doing, instead of trying this, let us go to the Google only, the most familiar to everybody. And let us say, okay, financial literacy. And see the number of results we are getting. 5, 6, 7 zeros, 17 crore. Now it's too many. So we need to learn to filter that. So how can we do that? We can go for advanced search. Financial literacy. Language. We do not want all these language. We want only English. Any region? No, we do not want any region. We want financial literacy in India. Last update anytime would be fine. Anywhere in the page, it's okay. Then any format? No, we want PDF. And let us write here research papers. Okay. See the results, 23,800. From 17 crore, we could filter to 23,800. This is how at least a basic filtering we must learn. These things also, like if we can, instead of any time, if we write, let's say, we want latest, then see now, just 1150. So this is how we should learn how to find out the literature of our need, relevant one, and which helps us in searching fast. Then I hope everybody all have this UGC Care login. And I mean, the participants are, I suppose, sir, all are PhD scholars, no?
PhD scholars are there, and those who are doing PhD also there, and faculty members are there.
Okay, so are they aware about this creating login for UGC care?
Uh, that I don't know exactly. You can just explain it, ma'am.
Yes, that is why. So
Yes, yes.
everybody should can parallel try this. UGC, see, I am on
Yes,
UGC
yes.
website.
The messages are coming in the chat box, ma'am. Most of them they don't know about the login. Can you please
Okay,
explain? Okay.
okay. Then parallel, you should try this. Go to UGC website. Go to UGC website, and I'll go back and again. Yes, see, go to Google, write just UGC, and welcome to UGC. Click that. You should create that login now only, because it will give you access to A and B, both the groups, journals, not only UGC Care, but Scopus and Web of Science also. So you will get this. Now, see, there is a faculty corner here. There, you can read these UGC approved journals. So click that. You can read here, UGC approved list of journals has been replaced by UGC care list with effect from this. So now at least your focus should be minimum this. There are researchers who are publishing their papers in peer reviewed journals also. But at least now your minimum criteria should be publication in UGC care list journal only. If the peer reviewed journal is not listed in this database, then you should avoid publication in such journal. Why? Because if you publish in peer reviewed, that may be considered for your thesis purpose, but we should not have such a short term perspective. You are pursuing PhD, it means you are seriously considering to be a part of academics in the long run. And when you are considering to be a part of academic fraternity, then API, academic performance indicator, going to, it means a lot. It's going to be your very, very important consideration for your resume and your academic work. And that is why there, this is minimum publication.
Ma'am, how to come to this journal, ma'am?
How to come to means?
Sir,
No, no.
I'm doing that
that's what
only.
we are.
See,
That's what we are
once
explaining.
you are here, click here. Click. Then see, there is a login. I myself have already a login here, user password. That's why I'm here. See, login. I'll get this. Otherwise, you will have to sign up. Create a login. Anybody can create a login. PhD scholar can also create a login. So you can give your email ID as your user, password, I am not a robot, and login. Now see this. The UGC care list has only two groups. I told you, group 1, group 2. Group 1 is what? Journals found qualified through UGC care protocol. And group 2 means this one, journals indexed in globally recognized database. That means Scopus, Web of Science and all. So this group, more or less it is static. In this, once your journal, if your paper is published in Scopus journal, Web of Science journal, it will be forever considered for your API calculation. This UGC care list, first how to search journal, that see, I am in my login, you need to create, it can be immediately created in a fraction of seconds only, just you need to give your email and all. Then we get a choice here, that select the journal based on title. I mean, try to look for care listed journal. If you have already some title in mind, you know some journal and you just want to check out that whether it is part of care list for publication, I want to decide. If it is part of care list, then I want to publish. So I will give, or else you have a publisher or ISSN, subject, language of publication. These are the choices. I remember, say for example, the title. So I am selecting title here. Now I would write here Indian Journal of Commerce. Indian Journal of Commerce. And search. And you can see it's on the screen. Indian Journal of Commerce. All India publisher is All India Commerce Association. Their print ISSN is this, EISSN is this, and if I select this view, I get all information about the journal. That what is the subject, focus subject, ISSN, discipline, everything. That means it is safe to publish in Indian Journal of Commerce. See, I clicked that. So straightway I am on the website of Indian Commerce Association. Now, see here, volumes of the Indian Journal of Commerce, view. Starting from year 2007, all the volumes are on their website. See, this much access will give me lot many articles published in this related to my area. You can see here, let us click this. Okay. And the whole issue is here. See this. We can just go through this first page and see if some paper, the title is relevant to us, then we go further. If not, then go back. Any issue, you just click and you get lot many information. Very first page is content page. Then just see if the topic is relevant to you or not. This is my paper with one of my, you can see the PhD scholar only. The paper publication is compulsion, no? For 2 papers are required. So one of the paper is published here. It was the thesis was on mobile banking in the state of Gujarat. Now, see, this database, UGC CARE database, it's a dynamic one. That means today this journal is in UGC CARE list. But if the journal doesn't fulfill certain norms, then it may be out of this database. So what I need to do, when my paper is published, at that time, I should go to the UGC website and this screenshot I must have with me. Screenshot should be taken. So wherever I claim this publication, I should just attach this one page also, that when I published my paper, it was part of UGC CARE list. So this page is very important. It's a proof that when I published, it is part of this database. And that's why even if at that time when I have applied and my API application is being evaluated, this particular journal is not in CARE list, but my paper will be considered for the promotion. Because when I published, it was part of the CARE list. For you, this publication is one part, but at least one thing goes without saying, that those journals which are part of UGC CARE list, at least they maintain certain standards of publication. And that is why they are part of this database. And that is why it is worth exploring for our literature review. I hope everybody is understanding what I'm trying to convey. See, another, let's say, title. It's Home Management and Technology Review. No any journal, but this journal is part of this. So somewhere I have not written properly or something like that. It is again not coming. So maybe management and the title which I am writing, I may not be writing it properly. That is why it is happening this is way. Then I'll go to ISSN and ISSN. Let me try this. See, I was using and symbol, and here they have written A and D. That is why it was giving me that it is not part of. This is the care which you are also supposed to take. Then you can see the publisher, ISSN, and with the view, I'll go to straightway on this page, and when I click this, I am on Semcom website. See, this is the, again on the front page, cover page itself, they are giving the contents. So I can, for literature review, I can refer this only. And I come to know if anything of my interest relevant to my area of research, I'll go further. Otherwise, I won't. So you can see again here one of the paper which I have given for publication. The issue is under print actually. I would show you the archives, all past issues. And you can see the full text. October 20, March 2021 is under printing. This October 20 will open now. Network is a bit slow. By that time it is opening, I think we can go ahead with our discussion. It is opening in the process. But first I need to show you group 1, which is group 2, which is very important for all of us actually. Group 2, the globally recognized database. You can see here. This is again very important for you. List of cloned journals, predatory journals, where you should avoid. Before giving for publication anything, the database should be checked properly, because you can see UGC has identified this, the title Adalia. This is the original, the real one, real journal. There is some organization which publishes, which used to publish now. After UGC identified that it's a clone journal, they might have stopped. But the Adalia journal, see the similar name. Only the word journal is added here, which is not there. But the publisher not identified. The language English, here it is in Turkish, German. ISSN, see, same ISSN. This is unethical. It's a crime actually. But people are doing that also. All these journals are clone journals. University of Hyderabad in southern region is helping the Pune University. Savitribai Phule University is the one see, you can see here UGC cell for journal analysis, that which journal will be part of this list, that is decided by the committee at Savitribai Phule University, and in all the region they have identified one university which helps them in this process. In Gujarat it is MS University of Baroda. For all Gujarat related journal analysis, MS University of Baroda is doing. From the Gujarat, only two journals are part of this database. In southern region, University of Hyderabad is helping them in the process. By mistake, suppose, unknowingly, if you if you end up publishing, it happens with the scholars or teachers in such clone journal, then that publication has gone in waste. It will never be considered for any academic position, any promotion. And that's why at least we do not become part of the thing. That's why the awareness is necessary. Even literature review should be avoided because they don't have any standards, any ethics. So anybody who pays them, their papers will be published. So we should not get into such things. And that's why awareness is necessary. Our area is social science, group 2 social science. Web of Science. See. This is a very good feature. Of course, this will be useful to the faculty members who are into publication. That sometimes I write a paper, but I don't know that which journal is appropriate for my paper. So, Web of Science gives this manuscript matching. Find a match. We can create a free login, and you get access to manuscript matcher. The Web of Science will suggest you that you should publish your paper in which journal. I'm not going more into this detail because we have more scholars, and for them it's still a long way to go for this kind of publication. But then see, this is also possible. You can identify journal from your manuscript. Open access journal, they will give you access to all open access where you can directly enter, and the filtering process can also be done. That suppose I am writing this capital structure. I have not Indonesian capital market review. In this journal, there may be a paper related to this. We will not go much into detail, but at least you should have awareness that these are the standard database. So for your literature review, you should take journals from this. This everybody must be aware about. This at least research scholar, they must know about Shodh Ganga, that your thesis will be ultimately published. It will be placed here, and anything is taken from anywhere, it will be caught here. You can see here Savitribai Phule University, these many theses, 10,822 is on the Shodh Ganga. So you can search thesis here, like this is on, let's say, structure. And you can see all this is related to capital structure is on my screen. Now suppose your topic is this, there is absolutely no problem in seeing, referring this thesis, that what they have considered. Why? Because at least it will give you an idea that what kind of literature they have studied. And then if you feel that yes, it is useful to me, then you go to their references. And from that reference, go to the original paper and then take follow literature review. But by mistake, even don't take directly what they have written, because now you know that you have to give your thesis for similarity check. And there, everything on the internet, if even if you are paraphrasing that and putting it, it will be possibly caught. And that is why it is, you should be very very careful. Mostly, let's say, literature review is normally, yes, it is here. If you think that something is of your interest here, relevant, then you should go to this, like, original source, or go to the reference and take the contents, that who is the author, which year, which journal, and then go to the source. Then there is nothing wrong, because you will ultimately write in your own words. You have just taken there because that bibliography will also be available here, where it must be available. So you can take this, absolutely no problem, because there they have cited, and that's why you get the detailed citation over here. And then searching from, taking this source and writing in our own way, nothing wrong. But straightway taking from them that chapter or paragraph and then paraphrasing, it's unethical, wrong. And somewhere, because it will become a habit, you will never be confident to write in your own way, and somewhere you will definitely caught. So avoid that. This, I think, identify the broad problem area, but don't be too global. So do not be this. See this. If your topic is related to behavioral finance, the discussion can simply begin with financial decision making and not management field. That what is management, how finance is part of management, that financial management, and then you go to behavioral finance. No need to do that. Don't attempt to cover everything written on your topic. Each and everything, no. Identify what is your research problem. See that. Focus on your research objective. Everything on behavioral finance is not for you. Which particular area of behavioral finance you are targeting to study, that is important. And accordingly choose the literature. You can search relevant literature by picking the most important and relevant literature related to your topic and refer its reference list. This is what I told you. Because the reference list, bibliography, will give you a lead. It will give you hint that how you can proceed further to get information more about this particular source. You will need to pick out the most relevant research to the topic you are studying. The review will be guided by your research objective, research questions. We discussed that. And what we look for in the literature review? What assumptions do most or some researchers seem to be making? What methodologies do they use? What testing procedures, the statistical tools they have applied? Evaluate and synthesize the research findings and conclusion. Note experts in the field who are the authority in your field, and which are the names which are frequently referenced. The one who gets maximum citation, obviously the research is of really good. Note conflicting theories, results, and methodology, and watch for popularity of theories. Certain theories, like when we talk about, let's say, capital structure, then NI approach, NOI approach, traditional, Modigliani and Miller approach, it comes every time. So, what is the popularity of the theory? What is its relevance today? Suppose we talk about those who are in the finance, they know that Modigliani and Miller talks about arbitrage theory. So is it relevant today? Yes, it is relevant even today, because still we have NSC and BSc where arbitrage possible. Before you start reading, it may be useful to compile a list of the main areas and questions involved, and then read with the purpose of finding about or answering this. First, you list out the main area on which, or your questions on which you want to work. Then, we already talked about this, that we need to identify the variables they have studied and the variables which we want to study, the variables which are in our priority list. Then literatures related to research objective, data collection method, data collection sources, different analysis methods, yeah, just financial ratio, which used, when, by whom, why, all that. And this actually I showed you in the those two literature review papers published, that it can be that the literature review can have different sections, and it can be clubbed together. The similar opinion of 4 5 researchers can be clubbed together. That helps, that is actually synthesizing is. The review may incorporate time frame when the research was undertaken. In the snapshot, we have seen that with the name of the author, the time when it was conducted, objectives, methodology, data collection, key findings, critical appraisal, according to its relevance. Similarly, compile lot of literature. That is actually a norm, that whatever we come across, at least in the beginning, we start collecting. Then slowly we learn filtering. How long to continue literature review search? Till literature gets repetitive. Still, you see, now findings are repetitive, methodologies are repetitive, authors are repetitive. Then we can say now we can put an end to our literature review. Without fail, keep the references with it as soon as you find it relevant to include. This is very, very important. Actually, everybody must learn for these references. We must learn. I'll just. This go to references, and this APA style of citation. Insert citation, add this, and you can see here the document from website, journal article, article in a periodical, conference proceedings, report, website. These are option given. Suppose you are taking some document from the website, then you select that. Then you should write the name of the author who has written the article, name of the web page, website, year, month, day, when you access, and when it was published. Its URL. If you have some more information about that, suppose ISSN, then the year, month, and day you accessed. Short title means it's ISSN. If you, or sorry, standard number is ISSN. Whatever information you have, just fill that and then write OK. So you will immediately get that as per standard referencing tool APA style. There is ready-made, Mendeley is a ready-made referencing tool available, that also can be used. Suppose I'll Now I'll go to reference, and Mendeley I have already, it's a free referencing tool I have installed in my laptop. So I am insert citation, then I'll go to Mendeley, then this PDF I am selecting, okay, is written by Suresh MR, and then cite. See, you can APA style citation automatic, this Mendeley has given me. This is the ready-made way. But I would advise, instead of that, initially you should go for this, our usual, instead of Mendeley. And if you are comfortable with Mendeley, learn that and use that, no problem. Or else APA style is available already in our Word. You can, Microsoft Word, you can use that referencing. Because if you do this, then at the end you don't need to prepare separately bibliography or referencing. You simply have to click this insert bibliography, and it will be, see, I have only one just now, but the moment I clicked insert bibliography at the end of the page, I'll go to the last page of my thesis, and everything related what was inserted here is Mendeley has automatic taken. And the same thing I can insert here, which I also showed you without using Mendeley. That is the correct method of referencing, at least APA style of referencing, is compulsory to use for all PhD scholars. We have no other option, because the chances of similarity you can reduce to a substantial extent if you are using such tools for referencing. And in most of the universities nowadays, even it's compulsory to use such standard style of referencing like APA. Do not ever delete any content until the thesis content is finalized entirely. Whatever you collect, at least keep it, preserve, unless the thesis is ready. And when we work on some topic, we should not be biased about specific findings. That 100 authors could find this, so I also must get this. Not necessary. Writing should be well structured. Introduce literature review by pointing out major research topic that will be discussed, and use subheadings, grouping and subsections. Actually, we have seen that paper. Thematic or topical order. For organizing your literature review by main topics, topical means by main topics, main issues, or emphasize the relationship of the issues to the main problem. So don't just write paragraphs, but establish the relevance. It should be in a flow. It should, when somebody is reading your literature review chapter, he or she should feel that it's some essay kind of a thing. There is a flow or relation of one topic with other topic they can easily establish. Or like general to specific order, also called funnel approach, that examine broad-based research first, then focus on specific studies that relate to the topic. Or go for chronological order, organize literature review by dates. The latest one you take first, and then go in the descending order. Or maybe you can divide all in descending order, no doubt, year wise, but at the same time international level studies, then come down to the national level studies, then come down to the state level study. At least I believe that at PhD level minimum we conduct state level studies. Linking words are important, that we discussed. If you are grouping together writers, then similar opinion, you use words or phrases like similarly, in addition to, also, again. If it is in disagreement, then however, on the other hand, conversely, nevertheless, this kind of word should be used ideally. Positive assessment, this kind of words, like advocate, he advocates, Mr. So and so argues, he holds the point of view this. If it is neutral, then this kind of word addresses, sides, comment, critical assessment, he attacks, he objects, he refutes. This kind of word should be used while writing our literature review. When introducing someone's opinion, don't use says, but instead an appropriate verb which more accurately reflect this viewpoint, such as argues, claims, states, etc. And when we cite a classical or landmark study, then identify it as such. Like this is a landmark study on behavioral economics by Patel. Then identify it as such, mention if it was replicated by anyone else, indicate the results of the replication, what was his result, what was the result of replication, and suggest if you too intend to replicate it or not. Sometimes we are using for the ready-made scale, where instead of designing altogether new questionnaire, we use ready-made scale. No problem. We can use it, but at least acknowledge that. And then compare your results with that study. When you use this kind of word while writing research gap, it has been observed that we are using this kind of words. Be very, very careful because you have to justify. And it is difficult to justify this. Why? Because we study 100 literature, 500 literature, at the most 1000 literature, but world over, there are so many people, there are so many studies, and it is next to impossible to study, to review all. And that's why this one has to avoid writing this, that no studies were found. At least I did not, the researcher did not come across this kind of study. That is safe to use. Then check grammar and language. Very, very apt here. Summarize the important aspect, evaluate current state of the literature reviewed, identify significant flaws or gaps in the existing body of knowledge, link your research to existing knowledge, and this is again very important because research is a continuous process. You may write conclusion chapter in your thesis, but research is not ending there, and that's why there is always a scope for further study. And in the conclusion, summarize what has been done, what has not been done, because that will give idea to future researchers, and what needs to be done. This will automatically happen if you are using tools like Mendeley, Zotero, or if you are using style, APA style, Chicago style, this kind of styles. Snapshot will tabular format, that is snapshot, or maybe there can be conceptual map, a concept map, but tabular format would be more convenient for the referees also. These are certain common mistakes. Review is not logically organized. Review is not focused on most important facets of the study. Review does not relate to literature, too few references or outdated references. Review is not written in author's own words. It is very much required in the when the chapter is part of similarity check, compulsory. Review reads like a series of disjointed summaries. This is from the very beginning I am emphasizing that should be avoided. It should be in a flow and doesn't argue a particular point, and recent references are omitted. This is not at all allowed. Similarity check. Use another writer's words, ideas, then whatever they have given, you write without putting into quotation. And when we put quotation, that does not mean we can take in number of words as it is, sentences as it is from others' work. Maximum you can take 40 words as it is with a quotation. Borrowing the structure of another author, borrowing another student's paper and using outsourcing the whole work. These are all crime, unethical practices. This is necessary. Taking feedback and making necessary changing, and for that Read, reread, reassess, reevaluate. Assess if literature review adjusts well in the rest of the thesis. Request your literature review or entire thesis to be read by at least 3 people in the similar subject. Without giving your opinion, listen to the other people's opinion, because see, when you work so much on one topic, you are 100% into it, and that's why sometimes having neutral opinion for that work becomes difficult. So you listen to the instead of defending yourself, you listen to that expert opinion. And if more than one experts are giving similar opinion, then be ready to make necessary modifications. It's a most daunting task. Needs to go through the literature review process thoroughly and make mental picture. Mind mapping is necessary. What you have read, understood, and articulated. How what you have read and understood is put on paper, because all this is possible if you are not just for the sake of the degree you have enrolled yourself or planning to enroll for this highest degree of academics, but research is your passion and you are ready to do it with zeal and 100% commitment and dedication. Your outcome of the research work may be a paper, maybe your MPhil is, of course, in new education policy, no more continued, but single variable you can study in this kind of study or research paper. Of course, multivariable, bi-variables needs to be considered for PhD study, some good database research paper publication. You can then aspire to become a research guide. You can take up sponsored research project funded by the good funding agency. All that is possible. So this is it. Now I just want to do a small exercise in the let's say, I think, Dati, did you join us?
Yes, ma'am. I have joined.
So you can start Kahoot.
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yes. Just a small fun exercise of whatever we have discussed. You will definitely enjoy. You can share your screen. I'll stop sharing my screen. Dharti is my
Okay, ma'am.
scholar,
Okay, ma'am.
so I have taken her help for this Kahoot thing. We both of us together created this. Yes. Kahoot.in, no?
Yes, ma'am. It is Kahoot.in. I have sent it to the chat box. Participants are requested to go to Kahoot.it.
Participants, please go to kahoot.it. You just write in the chat box. Yes, the link is in the chat box. Click
Ma'am,
that.
my screen is visible.
Yes, your screen is
Yes,
visible.
it's visible.
It is
Yes.
visible.
No, now it's not.
Okay. Okay. So when you go to Kahoot.it, now you'll be asking a game pin, and I'm showing that is 77866.
Give this pin.
Game pin is, again I'm repeating, 77866. Is it visible?
Yes, visible.
Okay, now participants are joining us.
Yes, they are joining.
Okay.
7 of them have joined us. You will definitely enjoy this. It's a fun exercise. Please join us.
Please join us. Make it fast, friends.
Just it will help you in understanding whether your concepts of literature review are cleared or not. Pin is 77866. Somebody is asking in the chat box. 77866. Yes, you can start now.
Yes, ma'am. You will be given 20 seconds for each question. So you need to hurry selecting the answer, supposed answer. Whoever select this right answer very fast will be allotted the points accordingly. And lastly, we will decide three participants who have achieved the highest score. So let us start with the game.
Friends, make it fast.
So that's your first question.
What is a function of literature review? Choose one option. You will have symbol on your screen, and on our screen there is with the symbol the description. So you can choose the correct symbol.
So that's how it works. The first question, it will only give you 20 seconds to complete. And the right answer was the third one, having symbol of circle. We'll go to the next question. And these are the scoreboard. So Reshma ma'am has secured the highest rank with point
Highest,
867.
yeah, highest points.
Okay. This is the second question.
A literature review helps too.
So I think so. 5 seconds are left. Okay. 25% has given the right answer. And let's see the scorecard again. So the first one has changed. Now it is
Anish.
Anish. Yeah.
Okay.
Let us go to the next question. Here, our third question is
Review of literature should sort out the information into a
5 seconds left.
3, 2, and 1.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So let us
14
see
has
who's
given correct.
okay. So now Abhi has secured the highest rank.
Yes.
Let us go to next question. Our fourth question.
When accessing the internet, which of these steps is the most essential?
Five seconds.
3, 2, and 1, and 0.
Okay.
3. Yes.
So
23 has given correct. Now again Anish.
Anish here, yes. And let us go to the next question. Fifth one.
Which of the following is proper method for citing the referred material in MS Word?
5
Just now
seconds.
we discussed. 3, 2, 1, and 0. Yes, 23 has given correct answer. Good, good.
So here's the
Again,
again.
Anish has scored maximum.
Okay. Now next question. Sixth one.
What is the advantage of journal articles for a literature review? 6 has given correct answer.
Again, let us go move to next question. It is a true and false question.
The internet should not be used for finding published literature.
Okay.
27 is given correct. Nish
Okay.
is again top scorer.
And the last question.
The main sources of literature for most students are
Okay. So the final podium is here and will rank first, second, and third one.
oh, see the celebration. Abhi is first, Johnson second, Ayu third, and celebration is going on Kahoot. So congratulations, winner. I hope your concepts are clear. Everybody who participated in this fun quiz, congratulations. Okay. So I think over to you, sir.
It's a time for question answer.
Yes,
Want
anybody
to
has
ask
any
any doubts
questions?
regarding the session, you can ask to ma'am directly. Otherwise, you can put it in the chat box.
You can unmute yourself and ask question or put questions in the chat box. One thing I want to show you, just I forgot to show you. Actually, I would share my screen. That will be more of the interest of the teachers, those who are already publishing. That is my thing.
Ma'am, there is a question from
Stop sharing your screen, Dharti.
ma'am. There is a question from Dr. Mini Kumari.
Okay.
Can we track the status of the paper to publish?
Just a minute. In the chat box question?
Yes, scheme in the chat box. 6:24 it's posted.
Sir, can you repeat? I am unable to see the question.
Can we track the status of paper
Mm.
to publish?
Some journals give that, but all journals you do not get that facility. And that's why select good journals. But ranking I wanted to show you in this Kimago. Just a minute.
Okay.
This is necessary. Actually, everybody see this. I can see my journal rank and the one.
Aruna ma'am, you can ask question directly, ma'am. You can ask question directly. Can we kindly unmute and ask directly, ma'am? Aruna ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Oh, can you unmute it and ask?
Yes, sir. Ma'am, can I ask one question?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, the thing is, I have published one journal. I want to know whether it is a genuine one or not. That is, I have published my paper in Turkish Journal of Computer and Mathematics Education. That is Turcomat. I would like to know whether it is a genuine one or not. How to
Yeah,
find
the
it?
only thing you
Focus
will
on.
come to know this is from the database, go to good database and give ISSN or the title.
Okay, ma'am.
Then only you will be able to know that whether it is the journal where you have published is good one or not. Sometimes even it has happened with the people, fresh recruitment, they apply just after their PhD and they come to know that they have published in the clone journal or predatory journal.
Yes, ma'am.
Abhilash, you can unmute and ask question. Abhilash.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, 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 Abhilash.
Yeah, ma'am. If the researcher, hello, ma'am.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, you can ask.
Yeah, ma'am. Is there any problem if the researcher choose a new topic for a study, or if there is no sufficient review of literature is available in the society or in some other books or published works?
If the topic is too current, then you may not get sufficient information of the past studies. But world over, somewhere some studies you may find. Suppose recently it happened in our department itself. There was one researcher who registered for dolomite industry, financial performance of dolomite industry. And many researchers had conducted their research on the technical side of this industry, but financial aspects were not studied. So from Indian literature, hardly he could gather any literature. But world over, somewhere something must have taken place. So you can take related literature there. Well, there are
Okay,
like
okay, thank you.
digital payments in our country. If you want to work on that, your maximum literature review will be based on this one, the newspaper articles and all. Of course, you will find a lot of literature in the journal article publication and all that, but that requires recent data more. And if you do not include that recent data, hardly it is of any use.
Ma'am, there is another
Yes, ma'am.
question.
In the case of new topic, we got so many information from newspapers and some other news also. But there is no article. There is no right now. There is no articles related to that particular type of content. That's why I'm asking you this question to ma'am.
I did not understand, sir.
Ma'am, actually, there is no sufficient literature in articles or books nowadays. But there are so many information related to that in newspapers and other.
Yes.
Yes, yes. That's why I'm asking to you, ma'am.
But newspaper, it is available, no?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, yes.
So that is a literature review, ne?
Yes, yes,
And
yes.
if something is available in newspaper articles, there must be some government reports and all also for that.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Some other orders are also related to that.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, okay,
See,
okay. Thank you, ma'am.
what is this? I just wanted to show you this. Everybody must aspire for this. I am on Scopus website and I am searching for author's profile. I am hypothetically giving author's last name.
Okay, ma'am. Any more questions, friends? Okay, it's time for vote of thanks. I invite Professor Rakesh, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, Mahatma Gandhi College, Trivandrum, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Vinod sir. Sir, is it audible?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Vinod sir. So, respected Dr. Kamini Shah, ma'am, our resource person today. Respected our principal, Dr. Ampli ma'am, head of the department, Dr. Dilip AS, program coordinator, Dr. Vinod sir, other organizing committee members and all the participants, a warm good evening to one and all. On behalf of the Department of Commerce, MG College Trivandrum, I would like to take this opportunity to extend our sincere gratitude to Dr. Kamini Shah ma'am for this wonderful and informative session on literature review for systematic kickstart to research journey. Ma'am, I am sure that the participants have gained a lot from your session on how to do an effective and extensive literature. Till the last hands-on session, it was really wonderful, ma'am. It was indeed an honor for being a part of this session. Thank you. Thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you very much, all the
Uh,
participants
the-
and Vinod sir and entire organizing team, Principal Ma'am of Mahatma Gandhi College for giving me an opportunity to interact with everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Then I express my gratitude to our principal, Dr. Ampli, ma'am, who always extend her support to all programs like this. Then our head of the department, Dr. Dilip A.S. for sir support. Then the coordinator, the remarkable effort of Dr. Vinod sir make this program so wonderful and successful. So I extend my gratitude to Dr. Vinod A.S. for his effort for this for conducting this talk series. Then I express my gratitude to the organizing committee members and my dear participants, teachers, research scholars, and other students who have participated in this talk series for your support and all. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So, thank you, Rajesh, for your valuable feedback and vote of thanks. And now it comes to end the session, today's session. Tomorrow by 5 o'clock, we'll start our session. See you tomorrow. Thank you, ma'am, once again. See
Thank
you.
you, sir.
Thank you all.
Somebody was asking my email ID, so I kept it in the chat box.
Yes. Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
So thank you, sir. Can I leave meeting now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, one and all.